It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
What? Yeah.
Hey, covering the latest in wrestling entertainment and beyond since 2011. You are checking out episode number 995 of the RCWR show. Lee Sanders here for this Wednesday night of January the 11th. 2023. What is good, you all? A few minutes removed from AEW Dynamite, a live edition of AEW Dynamite as always. And depending on how you want to take the news, as far as the main event match goes, the best of the 7 series for the AEW Trios Tag titles. We've got new Trios Tag champions in the Elite. They came back from such a very high deficit to come back and win the titles. What did you guys think? For those of you that watch Dynamite tonight, or maybe you're going to have it on the DVR and you'll be checking this out for on demand and on the downloads, what did you think about that main event match? More specifically, what do you think about the Elite having the Trios Tag titles? You can definitely sound off in the comments. Also have a poll up asking you all, what did you think about tonight's Dynamite on Twitter at the RCWR show. We also have a poll up on the YouTube communities tab. And just for fun, on the YouTube's community tab, I included an exclusive option for you guys, just for our YouTube community members. So make sure you check that out and sound off. Hey, all right. I am so happy. Right as we are live on the air right now, it looks like... Should I share the results now, or should I? No. I'm gonna tease you guys with that. I'm sure with you guys a little bit later on. So look, we're gonna do a nice slam dunk episode tonight. We're mostly gonna talk about Dynamite. We definitely got some previews coming up for this Friday's AEW Rampage. We also have previews for next week's AEW Dynamite. Little bit of AEW news that we can get to, and of course we have the very latest on the WWE sale rumors, as within the past 24 hours, shit just got donkey stupid. Let's be honest. Shit got donkey stupid, and a lot of so-called wannabe wrestling journalists that, as I've been saying off and on for the past couple of years, I really started putting it on heavily in 2022, which is about the so-called wrestling journalists that basically are spreading rumors, speculation, using that as fact, no sources whatsoever. And man, the stuff that they spin out there in the past 24 hours, how not only did it blow up in their faces, but we'll dive into all that. Some new developments, definitely, on a lot of fronts. Another lawsuit coming towards Vince McMahon. So we got a nice loaded up episode for you guys. Appreciate you all that's tuning in, however you're doing it right now, as we are live for this next little bit, streaming on multiple outlets. So take your pick. Let's get into this, baby. I hope you guys have had a pretty solid week so far. I gotta tell you guys, I'm already starting to get a little bit hot in this bad boy. You can kind of see in the background, I got a little heater that's on the sofa. I think I may actually have this thing up a little too high. And I don't know if you're like me, but when it gets too hot and you're live on the air, right, or you're lost in conversation, it's very easy to get mixed up. So before anything happens, let me just turn this down so we'll be good to go here. Ooh, yeah, I think that'll settle in. We'll give that a couple of minutes, and then we should be good to go and everything. What's good, though, y'all? I mean, I hope you guys have had a fantastic week so far. Hump day already here. Hope you guys been taking it easy. I have been just kicking back, mentally refreshing myself and enjoying my time that I had off from the jobs. I go back into the flood again, nice, heavy, and thick. I go back Thursday on, and I doubt I'm going to have the same kind of schedule for next week. I was happy I was able to have the days that I was able to have off, because it gave me an opportunity to take care of some dental stuff. I'm feeling a lot better, by the way. For those of you that had tuned into the Monday night show, you guys know that I was dealing with a pounding headache and all that. It actually lingered going into Tuesday night when I was doing the breaking news on Stephanie. At that point, it was at about 60%, but when I woke up first thing Wednesday, completely out of my system altogether. So I'm feeling a lot better, for those of you that might be a little bit curious. But just been taking it easy, ordering more textbooks, trying to get ready for the next round of classes, making sure that my financial aid is straightened out, ready to go and everything. I don't want no surprises, right? Got to stay on top of that and everything. But, honestly, everything's been going pretty good at my end and everything. Hey, before we go any further into the show, on a definitely a serious note, I want to extend my heartfelt condolences to the friends, family, fans all around the world. We lost Jeff Beck, legendary guitarist Jeff Beck. We lost this guy, age of 78. The way he passed, now look, luckily he was surrounded by loved ones. He passed away peacefully, but as far as the cause of his death, it looks like he died from bacterial meningitis. So yeah, and he died at a hospital, but peacefully. He did pass away, surrounded by loved ones and everything. 78 years old. Now, some of you guys may hear that. You may say, well, 78, that's kind of, he kind of lived a nice long life there. But man, to go out due to a bacterial meningitis, I mean, damn, that's just, ooh. And for those of you that, are not quite sure what the heck is, just use WebMD, because I mean, I'd be here all night just trying to, I wish I could kind of break it down in layman's terms, but you can kind of look at it as a bacterial infection of the organs, basically, in layman's terms. And if I'm misstating that, you guys can definitely jump at me and clarify before we go off the air and everything. With a little bit that I had researched, if I were to really just kind of break it down in layman's terms, pretty much what I said in a nutshell and everything. Very unfortunate. But I mean, my God, if you might not be familiar with the name Jeff Beck, I don't care if you're younger or older, if you are into all things hard rock and metal, then at some point you have definitely come across the music of Jeff Beck, whether it is studio albums or collaborative works, guest spots on people's albums, singles, things of that nature. You've definitely have come across his work. So, what a rough start to 2023, man, when it's all said and done. I mean, you could do a lot when you go back and trace his roots to music as well, man. You could trace it back to the Yardbirds, the Jeff Beck group, Bogart and a Pice. I mean, we'd be here all night. I mean, you could literally do a Kevin Bacon pyramid game involving Jeff Beck and everything. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I was pretty stunned when I had heard that news. I actually was on social media at the time. I think I was doing some show notes for tonight. I think I was preparing, doing the show notes, and I was chatting it up privately with a couple of people, and next thing I know, I came across that news, and I was just like, wait, what? And right at that point, I actually had got a text message from a buddy of mine. He's like, dude, did you hear about Jeff Beck? I said, yeah, I just heard about it. And we were talking for about 25 minutes and everything, just stunned, fucking stunned, I tell you. So, where do we go? I'll tell you what, let's start the talk. Oh, AEW Dark. AEW Dark. I got to tell you guys about this AEW Dark card that went about from Tuesday. Pretty solid card. I know I told you guys about the Dark Elevation card from Monday night, as that was damn star-studded there that they had going on. But for this week's AEW Dark for January 10th of 2023, if you didn't watch it yet, here you go. Here's your card. Ring of Honor Women's World Championship match as Athena defended against Marina Shafir. I've actually heard a lot of good things about that match, believe it or not. Juice Robinson taking on Travis Williams. Meanwhile, Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale in tag team action against Emi Sakura and Diamante. I didn't even know Diamante was still in AEW. I got to be honest with you guys. It's a name that I hadn't seen that often for the AEW YouTube shows, so I totally forgot that she was still part of the AEW/ROH roster. The Varos twins faced Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. Ethan Page, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy in trios tag action against Judas Icarus, Sebastian Wolf, and Khalib. How do you pronounce that one? Taniti? Maybe that's... I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I butchered that, apologies in advance. Teal Piper and Kel faced Anna J, AS, and Tay Mello. So, Teal Piper, you all do know who Teal Piper is. Do you guys know who Teal Piper is? I'm not being a dick. I'm literally asking you guys if you know who Teal Piper is. If you don't know who Teal Piper is, that is the daughter of the late WWE Hall of Famer Rowdy Roddy Piper, and she has just been taking it to a whole nother level on the independent, and I'm glad she's been getting these opportunities as of late, doing some stuff with AEW and everything. But yeah, her and Kel, they stay tearing it up on the wrestling independents and all that. I'm not sure if you guys actually follow her on social media. I know she's mainly active on Twitter. She's got some other social media accounts. I don't really know that much about those, but I know she's definitely active on the Twitter and everything. And, we actually had an opportunity to chat with her some years back, myself and Mish from Wrestling Soup. And at that point, she was doing some work for the WOW Women's Wrestling promotion. And sadly, we never saw, for whatever respected reason, we never saw Teal Piper fully blossom in WOW Women of Wrestling. We saw the promos with her and everything, but nothing really came to fruition from that. It would have been interesting to see what would have went down had it not been for WOW getting the axe from Anthem Entertainment from Access TV, and then when COVID happened, it would have been interesting to see, had all of that not happened, what eventually would have happened with the Teal Piper character and everything. But to this past week's AEW Dark. This was actually her first time doing some stuff with AEW. So FYI, this was her first time doing some stuff with AEW. So pretty good, pretty good stuff like right there. And Kel, that would be Rebel Kel, otherwise known as Rebel Kel, that she had teamed with. But the person that I'm thinking of, because I want to go back and I want to make sure I'm cleaning that up properly, the tag partner that I'm thinking of, and I actually think that might be her significant other. I'm not really sure, but there's someone that she's always teaming up with. Give me a second here. I don't know the guy's name. I'm drawing a blank right now, and it's rather unfortunate. If you guys want to help me with the name, I'd greatly appreciate it. But she's always teaming. I think it's her significant other though. She's always teaming. Dude looks fucking jacked too. He's got like a fucking carrying cross thing, killer cross thing going on. He's got a badass fucking look. And shout out to those of you that might be able to jog my memory on the guy. You know your wrestlers and everything. But she's usually on the independents. She's always teaming with this guy. I'm actually looking at her Twitter profile as we speak, trying to see if she maybe has tagged him in something. And I'm not seeing it right now, unfortunately. Hang on. I'll try to see if I can help you guys out real quick. Yes, I found it. I found him. Demos? Deimos? Deimos? This is one of those cases where I actually need to hear how the name is pronounced and everything. But, looks like a slightly older guy, but, I mean, he's got a killer physique. I mean, he looks pretty damn good. I'm not going to even put a front on to you guys. I have not seen specifically him in any type of in-ring action yet. But, I mean, when you got a person that looks that fucking badass, you can only hope that, well, man, if you look like this, I can only imagine how you roll in the ring, right? So you guys might want to check that out. For what it was worth, from what we saw of her off and on over the years, all the way up to now, she has gotten better and better as a on-screen personality. And the reason why I'm continuing to go on and on and on about Teal Piper, don't be too surprised if between AEW and Impact, don't be too surprised if eventually you start seeing her get some heavy rotation on television, because the way she's been coming along, that damn good when it's all said and done. My God, rest of the matches for this week's AEW Dark, by the way. One more match. Steve Miggs taking on Jake Hager. I don't think I finished the rest of that Teal Piper and Kel match, by the way. In case I did not, they were in tag action against Anna J, AS, and Tay Mello for you guys. So, another edition of AEW Dynamite that we got tonight, and honestly, from top to bottom, pretty solid card, all said and done. What really surprised me the most that I did not expect was the fact that we got a return of one Adam Cole, baby. Adam Cole making his return to AEW. And I gotta be honest, and I know I wasn't the only one here, but I totally forgot that Adam Cole was in AEW. I totally forgot that he was still part of the AEW roster. I know some of you guys are hearing that, and some of you guys may be like, dude, really? Like, no, it's been that long. It's been that long. So he looked to be pretty refreshed. He did not seem to be as haggard, beaten down, weary looking as before. He seems to be very refreshed, but it was great seeing him come into the ring and pretty much giving us an update on where things stand with him. Him letting the entire wrestling community knows that he's been appreciating the warm sentiments, the best wishes, the thoughts about him having a full recovery and everything. I know that many months back I was here on this show, and I remember going on record saying, yo, wrestling, as far as Adam Cole goes, as far as I'm concerned as a wrestling fan, I don't give a damn about Adam Cole wrestling right now. I just legit want this guy to get 100% better, take care of himself physically, emotionally, spiritually, have all of that be clicking again, and then deal with the wrestling, right? And I don't know if I took it a step further, like some people, and went to the length of, look, if this guy doesn't wrestle again, it's all good, just as long as physically the guy's okay. I don't know if I went as far as to say that, but I know how my mind clicks, and usually, and you longtime listeners that's been checking out the show for a while, you all know me, a good idea of where my sentiments are, and usually when I say something along the lines of wrestling doesn't mean, or hey, playing basketball or playing football doesn't mean diddly jack right now. It's all about your health, your well-being. Yeah, you could definitely take to the bank that you want to go a little bit deeper than that. Fuck a comeback to whatever that respected sport is. Just focus on your physical recovery and deal with everything else at a later date. So it was nice hearing Adam Cole out there and really giving that love and everything. Totally unexpected. I gotta say, totally unexpected, especially given the tone in which it was set up, because we had Tony Schiavone out there in the ring, and Tony Schiavone's going, I unfortunately have the displeasure of announcing this next guest. And then they just went into the Adam Cole baby music and all that. And I just, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Maybe I'm a stickler for detail or whatever, but here's why it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Because you are led to the impression, because it was a case where you were constantly reminded that Britt Baker and Tony Schiavone, they've got this friendship type of deal going on and everything. And we see what's going on with them, where pretty much every chance freaking Britt Baker gets, she's usually sharing a picture of her hanging out with Tony Schiavone and all that. And you're kind of going, okay, so just combining all of that going into tonight, like surely Tony Schiavone, come on, right? But he's the guy that always has to be. I really think Renee should have been in that spot, to my point. Renee should have been in that spot, and she should have said, ladies and gentlemen, boy, have we got a surprise for you guys. I want to introduce this next person to the ring. I think it really should have been Renee Paquette. You guys let me know, but yeah, I wasn't feeling the whole Tony Schiavone and everything. But yeah, that really took me back. That was a really good segment from Adam Cole and everything. One of the main things, of course, on our minds, what's going on with you physically? He did touch that, and he pretty much had said that he had some unfortunate news for everybody that's listening, which is he is coming back, and that pretty much he will not stop until he gets to a point in his AEW career, basically, where he's going to be that number one guy, where basically he's going to be the world heavyweight champion and everything. So he did not put a timetable out there as far as when we will see him in the ring again, as far as in-ring action goes, but he did say he is back. So it pretty much ended right there. So, you hear that, you go, okay, all right, well, you know what? We're not even halfway through the month of January, and all right, we've already got Adam Cole, baby, back in rotation again. AEW slowly but surely here. I mean, they're damn near close to 100% of maximum strength when it comes to superstar power and everything. The only thing that's kind of missing right now, which is like a wild card, is, okay, so what exactly is going on with this whole CM Punk situation? Is this guy done? Is he done with AEW, or are we setting something up? Like, the verdict is still out on that, okay? And yeah, everybody thinks, this is, but I don't blame people for saying, you know what? I'm holding out until definitively Tony Khan says that's it for CM Punk. I think there's still some hope. I don't blame those that's continuing to remain optimistic when it's all said and done. But yeah, love that return there from Adam Cole. Of course, that led to me and a few other people bringing up a pretty good question, which is, okay, so Adam Cole's coming back. Who could he potentially lock it up with upon officially returning to the ring and everything? And one good honorable mention I had saw from, I believe it was Dirk. Shout out to Dirk via Twitter. He said, how about Ethan Page? He's taking a guess, but he's like, how about Ethan Page? And I couldn't help but look at that and say, you know what? That's actually a pretty damn good pick. Why not Ethan Page? Why not Ethan Page? I think that'd be pretty damn good. Look, I don't know what's going on with Christian. I don't know how much longer Christian is going to be out of the game. But, you know, if you were to tell me Christian will be back in maybe about 2 months, 3 months, I would say, well, depending on how soon Tony Khan and crew are trying to get Adam Cole back into the ring, I would kind of look at that and say, well, if Christian's right around the corner, that definitely would be pretty interesting to do. Yeah, so you could definitely go that route. They got a few options though, all things considered. They definitely have a few options. Of course, with Adam Cole making his return, it had me wondering, okay, so he's saying all this, but what does this mean for Adam Cole and the rest of the elite members? Are they all still on the same page? Are they still a family? What's going on here? Because remember, the way it had looked at several months ago, before Adam Cole went out on that injury and all that, many moons ago, looked as though ultimately we were going to have ourselves a UE versus Elite. Undisputed Elite versus the Elite, or whatever you want to, Undisputed Era, right? Looked like we were going to kind of have one of those, but then just little by little, the UE guys, the Undisputed, Era guys, they just started disappearing. And the only person that pretty much was left in AEW was Adam Cole, basically, right? So I thought it was a telling tale, and a good job on Tony Khan and them's part to really let you know, hey, when Adam Cole does come back to in-ring action, he is focusing, he has singles career ambitions. This is what he's focusing on. And as opposed to, well, what does this mean for him and Kenny Omega and the rest of the guys? I thought it was a telling tale that they made sure to not have Adam Cole participate in any fashion in that main event ladder match between Kenny and the Bucks taking on Death Triangle. Because I don't know if you guys were looking for the spot, but I definitely was looking for some type of interference from Adam Cole. And it did not happen, at least not that I'm aware of. I did miss a couple of minutes because my dogs wanted to go outside one more time. But far as I know, there was no Adam Cole cameo there. If I'm wrong about that, you guys definitely let me know, be it live or on demand. For sure, reach out to me. Once the show's on the downloads and all that, you're hearing it and you want to get at me on social media and everything. But that main event match, by the way, that ladder match, for what it was worth, that ladder match was actually pretty damn good. I actually did enjoy it. A little bit heartbroken, though, to see that Death Triangle did not come out of that still the Trios Tag Champions. That's the only thing that really, and I mean, man, the crowd definitely was into it for what it was worth. They definitely were into it. But once they saw that the Elite were the winners, it was almost like the air was sucked out of the room. Don't get me wrong, you had a few people that were cheering, but man, when they did the far away shot, they hard camera, they pretty much did a far away shot, they pulled back basically. There were a lot of fans that were just standing there looking a little bit confused. I won't say sad, but they definitely were looking a little bit confused. They were not reacting. You know, it'd be one thing if you saw some people throw up middle fingers and all of that stuff, but there was none of that was going on. And I felt that because of the fact they went with the elite to win those trios titles, I felt, for me at least, I don't know how it was for you guys, but that definitely had made the match, in my opinion, number score wise, go down a whole number. Because I would have loved it had Death Triangle somehow been able to defeat the odds here, you know, when it's all said and done. Was it a little bit too choreographed in this one? Yeah, it was, especially given the fact that it was a ladder match and everything. It did feel a little bit too choreographed for all intents and purposes. I kind of felt as though, you know, this is it. This is the finale. This is the, you know, put it all out there. Okay? I didn't really get that. I felt like this was just a time filler for all intents and purposes. Now, other people may feel entirely different about that. Bless your hearts and everything. But, I mean, look, I've had quite a sample of these guys over the past several weeks. Okay? This was not the strongest out of all the matches that these guys have been involved in during this tournament. I just, for those respective reasons, I just was not feeling it here and everything. So I was expecting a much higher quality work rate from all parties involved, and it didn't quite get there. So I would say it was a average kind of match at most, right? Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being shit, 10 being awesome sauce. I probably would give it about a 6.5, almost a 7. I can't go any higher. Damn sure ain't gonna go any lower when it's all said and done. Of course, the big elephant in the room, what's going on with Mercedes Mone? You know, we had heard the rumblings there about her potentially making her AEW debut and everything. And of course, curious minds wanted to know, oh, what's going on here? And we even had Saraya do an interview recently to talk about, you know, yeah, what is going on there with the Saraya? Is Saraya and Mercedes Mone? Is Mercedes Mone coming to AEW? Are we maybe going to see something weird go down as far as Mercedes being Saraya's tag partner, and Saraya pretty much saying, no, hey, I hear it. Trust me, I get it. Yeah, I would like that too, but it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Didn't happen this week. So if you were looking for some money in the bank, you were looking to have yourself a little bank statement there for a deposit, it didn't go down this week. But that's not to say that eventually it will happen, but it did not go down this week. And I gotta say, you know, that's an interesting situation right there, because here's the thing in regards to that. Let me take a quick sip of this. I got me a nice Panera little tasty beverage here. It's banana pineapple blueberry smoothie. It was pretty good. I had about half left, but I've mixed half of it with some orange juice, some Sunny D, and some alcohol, if you will. So that's good. So let me talk about this here. I think Tony Khan and crew unfortunately backed themselves into a little bit of a corner right here, because I didn't work myself up as far as whether or not Mercedes was going to, because you can rewind it back. Last week we were here on the air and I dissected the hell for you guys out of the fact that Sheeta was pretty pissed off there that Saraya did not choose her as the tag partner to go into tonight's match against Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. And I even said, is this maybe going to cause Sheeta to come out, cause some type of interference, do some type of weird shenanigans, and pretty much is going to cost Saraya and Storm the victory. I told you guys, make sure you home in on that. Have that in the back of your mind now, right? So I didn't work myself into a frenzy. I didn't work myself in a corner and, Mercedes Mone, unlike some people. I think where a lot of people definitely felt misled, ultimately, though, is the fact that you didn't hear Tony Khan shooting it down. You didn't see Britt Baker and a few others as far as whether or not Mercedes was going to be coming into AEW. You didn't see a lot of them just straight up no. Even if it kind of seemed as though, hey, Mercedes would fit in quite well with this story arc that's happening here. Is she maybe going to appear? You didn't see people definitively just no, it's not happening, at least not to our knowledge right now. Hey, if we could do something with her down the road, for sure, anything is possible. Anything can and will happen, right? Not to quote WWE, but you get the gist. So if there are a lot of fans out there that are disappointed by the fact that they did not get Mercedes Mone, look, we've seen this happen time and time again with Tony Khan and AEW where, okay, you're expecting one thing and then you get the total opposite. This is going to continue to happen. I'm telling you, he's doing a better job. I'll give him that. He's done a slightly better job, but this is something that's not going to stop completely for those of you that's hoping maybe it will. Yeah, sorry. Got some bad news for you. Yeah, it's not happening, you guys. It's not happening. But let's go to that tag match. That actually was a pretty good tag match for what it was worth. You know what? I think that respected match, maybe. I won't say it should have closed out the show, but I'm looking at the order of the matches for tonight too, by the way. And I think this match was, this was actually before the main event match. So I didn't have a problem with the placement of it. I was debating whether or not this maybe should have closed out, but no, I think going with the trios was definitely the right way to go when it's all said and done. Decent match between all girls involved. As far as the length of the match, probably could have trimmed a little bit off for what it was worth, but still good from all parties involved. Let me go in on the final moments of this match though and link it back to Shida, kind of going back to what I was talking about from last week and everything. So we saw right before they went into a picture-in-picture / commercial break, Shida came out with a kendo stick and she was walking down the ramp, and you had Britt Baker and Hayter. They're kind of wondering, okay, what's going on here? Even Rebel was kind of looking on like, what the hell? You even had Saraya look on a bit inquisitive and all that, but kind of disregarded it, didn't think too much of it and everything. So as we go to the final moments of this matchup, Shida was outside the ring. She actually slid a kendo stick into the ring. And this was weird when this had happened, because in the proper setup for this, Hayter and Toni Storm, they were trading strikes at one another until both of them just fell over each other and everything. Rebel ended up jumping up on the apron, yelling at the referee, and then that's when Shida slid the kendo stick in there, and Baker used it to hit Toni Storm. Hayter then follows up with the Haterade, gets the W there. So, you're looking at that, and of course now, you got this, okay, did Shida do this on purpose to help Britt Baker? Or, did she slide this kendo stick in there, assuming that maybe... I mean, the way it's looking, when you clearly go back and look at the footage, it looks clear as day that, she was trying to help out her girl, or actually not her girl, but she was trying to help out Britt Baker for what it was worth. So, I like the fact that we're continuing on with that bit of bitterness there for Shida. Ultimately, the disrespect and all that. And I like where we're going with this, and I want to see more of this develop So, contrary to how some people may feel about the whole Mercedes Mone and her, yeah, she would have been perfect to be plugged in right then and there and everything. But I've been on this show time and time again, and one of the biggest problems that Tony Khan and AEW has whenever they bring in a new star, especially if it's a somewhat of a mega star and everything, or if it's not a top A tier star, but it's a B tier star, they have the same issue, which is they bring them in, they're hot for maybe 1 month, 2 months tops, and then Tony Khan has pretty much moved on to other things. It's just rinse, repeat. So my whole thing is, and I've said this for years, I've said this for AEW has now been in business for 4 years now. So I have said this repeatedly for about 4 years now, which is AEW, Tony Khan and crew, you guys gotta freaking pump the brakes. You guys gotta map out, okay, we're gonna be doing this with this person here. Okay, well, how is this looking for the next month? Where do we hope to be with this character 3 months from now, 6 months from now? What's our goal here? How are we doing this, right? And obviously, look, injuries happen and all of that. We get that, right? But when there's no injuries that happen after that wrestler has been there for a month or whoever else they're supposed to be working with, they're still healthy and everything a month later, 2 months, 3 months later, and that acquisition that you brought in, everything gets cooled off real fucking quick, right? And I know a lot of you guys are definitely pretty excited at the idea of Mercedes Mone and AEW and all that, but you guys really should have caution with the pattern that we have seen that's in the pudding over the past 4 years of how these debuts are handled and how ice cold it gets. I really hope that it doesn't get as ice cold for Mercedes Mone, but it wouldn't shock me if, and that's just because of how things are structured currently, right? Maybe they'll prove me wrong this year and they'll go in an entirely different direction. We'll have to wait and see, but decent match for the women involved here when it's all said and done. What else did we have on the card? Bryan Danielson taking on Takesha. Right before this match even began, we had MJF coming out there, and he is just mocking the hell out of Takesha. He's like, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but your name, it's to take a shit, right? That's your, I just love seeing MJF just brutally take down this young man, insulting the hell out of him, and everything. Just going on and on and on about it. Talking about how, hey, maybe when you grow up, you'll be as cool and as big of a star as me, not, whatever. But basically saying, look, you definitely need to prove yourself here. You got Danielson, right? So, right, he's talking shit to Takesha, but at the same time, he's pulling for Takesha to come through on Danielson, because remember, this is officially now the start of Danielson. He has to win every single match, singles match that he's involved in until, I wrote it down, I think he's got to win up until February 8th. And then if he wins all his matches going up to February 8th, then he will get his title shot against MJF at March 5th's AEW Revolution pay-per-view event. So MJF once again out there insulting the crowd, calling them nerds, all kinds of stuff, taking shots at Danielson, saying Danielson wouldn't last an hour, insulting the fact that Takesha does not speak English and that now that he's here in the U.S., he needs to learn English real quick. Takesha coming right back, pretty much saying, because he said something to him in Japanese and then he actually translated it for him in English. I think he said, shut the hell up, or I can't remember, but he said something and you're like, okay. And Takesha was actually about to hit MJF, but he quickly told the referee, get him. He needs to be taken out of the ring. This is my time right now. I'm talking. And apparently he said, I'm willing to put a fine on this guy if he puts his hands on me. So taking a few more shots at Danielson did MJF. Finally, Danielson came out there and we saw MJF running like a punk ass up the freaking ramp. I love the digs that he took, by the way, at, I can't believe I almost forgot about that. Freddie Prinze Jr. was in the house, and as many of you guys know, Freddie has a new book that's out. I did not put it up on my bookshelf yet, but yeah, I gotta start reading that too, man. I have yet to read that freaking book. I have not read his book. I'm trying to you know what? I remember getting Eric Bischoff's new book, Grateful. I remember getting that. I'm trying to see where that book is. Cause if I have that here, weren't we supposed to do an unveiling for that book? I'm pretty sure we were supposed to do an unveiling for that book. And for whatever respected reason, maybe it was just because of the holidays, but I ended up getting sidetracked. So I wasn't able to, I think this is the Moxley book. I haven't even read Moxley's book yet. Yeah, I haven't even read Moxley's book yet. I got Moxley's book still here. I've got to catch up on some serious read. Let me see real quick here. Because the big deal about Eric Bischoff's book, it's a signed book. So let me see something real quick here. Because if I have it, then we could do a unveiling for you guys. Let me see here. What is this one? Okay, so I think, I don't know what this one is. Let's find out. Feels like a hardcover. I don't know what this is. Let's see what this one is. Oh, wow. Okay, wow. I haven't even read this one yet. Yeah, I definitely gotta read this one. I know I'll be reading this one. Bruno Sammartino, the autobiography. Bruno had a hand in writing this and everything, so with his good friend Sal Anthony Cornetti. Yeah, I definitely gotta freaking read this one. Let me see. Let me see if there's like one more place. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look for that in between the show. Yeah, after a while, like, yeah, my wife is always telling me, she's like, you gonna read that? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna read it. I'm always doing something else. I'm always caught up doing something else that's taking my attention away, and sadly, I'm not able to. But when I do start reading, usually my trademark, when I do finally start reading, I'm binging. I'm just binging and binging and binging. I can lose so much hours just kicking back and reading. I'm actually looking in one other area. I think I might have found it. Let me see here. I think I found it, but I'm not sure. Yes, I found it. I found the Eric Bischoff books. I'll tell you what, in a little bit, we'll open that up. I'll let you see how that book looks and everything. Where was I, though? How did we end up talking? Oh, Freddie Prinze Jr., that's why, because Freddie Prinze Jr., his new book. So, yeah, MJF taking some really nice shots at Freddie Prinze, basically saying, look, the only thing that you are pretty much recognized for is being a crappy-ass actor and a CGI movie about some fucking CGI dog, right? Because he was involved in Scooby-Doo and all that. So there was actually a Freddy chant because, people were like, basically, leave Freddy alone. Freddy's cool and everything. And Freddy has his beer in his hand, and he's just like, dude, what the fuck did I do? Like, seriously. He's like, what did I do? Also in the house was one of my favorite actors, Ken Jeong. I mean, you guys know him from those I Can See Your Voice show. What's the other one? The Max Singer. What hasn't this guy? I mean, this guy he's involved in everything. True story. In one of my classes from a couple of semesters ago, we had to come up with a pilot that we would pitch to a television network. You know, it could be regular television or it could be a cable, but we had to figure out, okay, what would the budget look like? How many episodes? What type of equipment did we plan on using to do what we needed to do to shoot our scenes and everything? The whole 9 yards. And this wasn't no make believe. I mean, we actually had physically got sample copies of how we needed to structure our scripts. Okay, are we doing a docu series? Okay, if we're doing a docu series, then this is the respective paperwork that this is how we need to fill things out. Are we doing a television series? Okay, well, if we're doing a television series, then this is how we need to. And so we were going through like the whole 9 yards and everything. And we had to come up with the concept and everything. And one of the shows that I ended up coming up with, this was 90% me and 10% from the rest of the guys that were part of my group. Because in my group, nobody wanted to talk. That was the thing. Nobody wanted to talk. So I had to grab the bull by the horns, you know, being the oldest and everything, and having the most experience. I basically had to grab the bull by the horns and be like, okay, guys, so, like, well, here's what I'm thinking. And I threw my idea out there first. And they all just pretty much latched onto that idea. And they were like, okay, yeah, let's. But this much I'll tell you. I'm not going to say any more because if I say it, first of all, you guys are going to love the idea. And the fact that he was going to be the star of the show. Because we were talking about who's going to be the cast and everything. And because our professor said, look, as far as cast members go, you know, if you got people in mind, write it down, you know, all of that. And I think at the end, once we presented, you know, what our TV project was going to be about, we basically, as groups, we critiqued the other groups. Okay, yeah, this is good, this will work, this won't work. You know, we asked our questions and all of that. And then at the end, we voted for, you know, which group we felt had the strongest presentation, and our group actually won and everything. But if I say, you know, the concept and all that, my fear is that it'll, you know, somebody will fuck in and then, you know, I don't get no credit because I didn't do the trademark, I didn't do the copyright. But what I will say, it was based out here. It was going to be based out here in DC, as far as where we were going to be filming and all of that. It was definitely going to be a comedy. Definitely a comedy, because that's where he thrives. That's where Kim Jong thrives the most, is in comedy. So we definitely were going to utilize his comedy, but there was gonna be situations throughout the episodes where he was gonna have to get pretty serious. And I just feel as an actor, he would have definitely sunk his teeth into, you know, when it came to the seriousness tone and all of that. And yeah, my group, they really loved it. They really loved the idea. My professor particularly, not that she was trying to show favoritism, but she really, really loved the concept, the storyboard that we had laid out and everything. So anytime I see Kim Jong, I always get a smile on my face because I got so much respect for that guy. True story, you know, he's actually or he did practice medicine. He did practice medicine. There's a really cool story from many years back. I think somebody was suffering a heart attack or something, and he just happened to be in the area, saved the motherfucker's life. True story. Go look that up. Go look that up when you get a chance. So yeah, MJF taking all those shots at those guys. Danielson eventually coming out there. MJF running his ass off like a punk bitch. That pretty much went into our Takesha taking on Danielson match, which was a fucking banger. I loved it. I loved the match. I had no issue with this match whatsoever. It's kind of funny because some people felt that Takesha got in too much of an offense on Danielson. Some felt that Takesha looked too strong against Danielson. Now, here's what I will say to that, and this is where Tony Khan and the commentators, they're a little bit at fault here, because they did not do their respected job in really putting over Takesha. Because when you do your research on Takesha, in his own respected right, he is a decorated champion. Yeah, granted, he hasn't won any AEW championships yet. Yeah, he hasn't won anything from WWE or Impact or NWA or whatever. But in his own respected right, he has won multiple championships, be it heavyweight championship, tag championships. You know, he is a respected, decorated champion in his own right, all under the DDT Pro Wrestling promotion. You know, when you do your research and all that. And just off of the open weight championship alone, he's like a 5-time champion, and he's a one-time heavyweight, a one-time Ironman heavyweight champion and all that, right? So I think the commentators, you know, look, they can only do but so much, but at the same time, you've got Excalibur right there, and Excalibur these days, he's like the new Mr. Professor Mike Tenay and everything, right? There needs to be a better job in really making sure that Tony Khan, and if you've got Excalibur particularly that's going to be there, yeah, make sure that you're doing a better job in really plugging in all those holes, because I understand where some fans that's having that narrative of, hey, you know, this guy, he's looking too strong against Danielson. What the hell? I get that argument, but it's validated when you do your research, you know what this guy is about, and then the commentators are saying, look, you know, you folks at home, you know, if you're kind of new to seeing Takesha here in action, you know, and you're seeing how much of a challenge this guy is giving to Danielson and everything. Look, not for nothing, but Takesha, you know, he's pretty damn good in his own respected right. You know, and look, Takesha, he's been wrestling since 2012. Let's really make sure that we you know. So my whole thing, yeah, you definitely want to give the guy respect, because he has accomplished a lot in his still relatively young career. And he's not even 30 yet, but he's been involved in the wrestling business since 2012. I mean, that's crazy, right? So he still hasn't quite reached the absolute pinnacle of peak level of his in-ring abilities yet and all that, right? So the best is yet to come. I had no problem with the way this match was set for all intents and purposes. There was a botch that had came about outside the ring on the floor. You know, the pacing was okay and everything for all intents and purposes. I enjoyed this 10 times better than the opener between Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page, as the finish to that was just pretty flat, and then post-match was definitely pretty flat as well. But I didn't mind this being a challenge. Now look, if maybe you wanted to save Takesha for later, much later, I probably would have been down with that. That probably would have been cooler. But nah, they did okay here. And look, as far as I'm concerned, Takesha, man, he was really getting a lot of love from the audience tonight in this match against Danielson. Takesha, I really feel in my bones that he is going to have a solid breakout year in 2023. I really do feel that. So I think Tony Khan and crew, they got some big plans for that young man when it's all said and done. I was talking about it earlier, but we'll go there. We'll get there eventually. Tag team match. Big Bill, a.k.a. Big Cass, a.k.a. Cass XL, a.k.a. Cass, a.k.a. Big Cass, a.k.a. Morrissey, a.k.a. W. Morrissey, a.k.a. Will Morrissey, a.k.a. Cass XL, a.k.a. teaming up with Lee Morty to take on Hook, Jungle Hook and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Jungle Hook picking up the W. Okay, nothing really memorable, honestly. Nothing really memorable. I can't believe I'm saying I didn't care about this one.
This has to be the first time where I'm looking at a hook match and I'm going, I particularly don't care about this. Right? It just, and I think that's because I'm not liking what's going on with the whole, Stokely Hathaway little entourage. Stokely, I have no issues with. I think he's fucking killing it in his respected role and everything, but it reminds me of the little engine that could. Like, we're trying so hard to get this over, and it's kind of obvious that it's not really translating. It's not really converting in the way that Tony Khan and crew would hope that. This is kind of one of those, put this to pasture, right? It's like, just go ahead, just put that out to pasture. Let's move on to something else. But yeah, this was probably the first time where I ever said, as far as a hook match goes and a Jungle Boy match goes, where I said I could care two shits not. Sorry, calling it how it is, though. First matchup of the evening that opened up AEW Dynamite. Jon Moxley taking on Hangman Adam Page. Adam Page getting the victory here. Great physicality of a match. Great execution from both men. Some of the near falls that were involved in this was a little bit too spammy for my personal taste. The finish to this, though, you're doing it in a way where supposedly Moxley is allegedly knocked out, as you got an official physician that's going in, checking on him and everything. You pretty much head into a commercial break, and after you come back, we get the update that Moxley pretty much has a concussion and everything. Look, Heyman Adam Page, he definitely needed this win. The way that this was all set up, the storyline that we were telling, that AEW was telling and everything, this had Heyman Adam Page written all over it, that he needed this win, that he needed to rise to the occasion and everything. And he absolutely did just that. Final moments of this matchup, couple of headbutts from Moxley. Pretty much in the process of those headbutts, both men got rocked. Page lands a headbutt of his own. They start trading slaps on one another. Couple of knees from Moxley. Moxley's bleeding at this point too, by the way. Page then knocks him silly with a clothesline, buckshot lariat. That pretty much was the end of it right there. But pretty damn impressive. Now, what I can't help but wonder, now that this is over and done with, I'm looking into the crystal ball here, and I kind of get the impression that Moxley will be gone for a couple of weeks. Not that long, but he'll be gone for a couple of weeks, but he will return, and I have a feeling that he's going to call out Hangman Adam Page, and he's going to give him his props. He's going to give him that respect and everything. And what I can't help but wonder is, in the process of, okay, you earned my respect and everything, I'd like to see Heyman Page say it was never about, looking and earning your respect. It was all about proving a point that I belong in this ring with guys like you, that I can hang with guys like you, that I can defeat guys like you, so you can take your little handshake. We're good. We're even now. Right? I would like to see, but I know deep in my heart it's not going to pan out like that. But I can't help but wonder, looking into the crystal ball, if, once we see these guys break bread, is it maybe going to create a situation where they form an alliance, where outside of the Blackpool Combat Club, where Moxley and Page get on the same page as a tag team as well, and maybe they... Right, I just can't help but kind of feel as though maybe it might go in that direction. We'll have to wait and see, because now the question becomes, well, now where do you go with the Hangman? Where do you go from here with him, right? Jericho Appreciation Society making an appearance, pretty much a talking segment. They called out Ricky Starks and Action Andrade. Basically, this was a talking segment to set up the match that's going to be going down with Ricky Starks and Jake Hager. I'll get to that in a little bit because we got loads of matches that were announced for Rampage, a couple of matches that were announced for next week's Dynamite and everything. But overall, looking at this episode of AEW Dynamite for this week, I would say, you know what? Pretty good show. Pretty good show. I mean, AEW, they've been to, I think it was Andrea that was in the chat just now that had posted a comment. Yeah, she was saying how the show was pretty good this week. And yeah, it was. It definitely was a very good show overall. Not that many bumps in the road during this. Love seeing Paige Moxley beat the living crap out of each other for what it was worth. Danielson, Takesha, very good as well. The Jericho Appreciation Society segment I could have done without. That it just seemed like it was so unnecessary. If I had to go with weak points for the show, that I could have done without. Now maybe if you had to kill some time, okay, trim some of that fat off. Trim some of that fat off the time. But I thought they did way overkill. I thought the segment, especially for a talking segment, I thought it just... And look, I get it. Look, they're sports entertainers. Yeah, I get it. Sports entertainers, they kill time on the microphone. I get it. Trust me, folks. I get it. Ha, 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 ha. I get it. But, yeah, this was just... I'm going to be very curious to learn, because I want to know what's going on with the viewership quarterly. I'm very curious to know what became with that segment there. Was it high? Was it low? I'm very curious. MJF doing his Don Rickles roast on the celebrities in the house for this week. You know, I think Tony Khan and crew, they've got something golden here. And my message to Tony Khan and crew is peep out the cities that they're going to be coming to for Dynamite and Rampage going forward. I think they have stumbled upon something that can be kind of golden here and kind of memorable here, which is, okay, who's MJF going to be cracking on this week? You got to evolve from just always saying the same thing over and over about the fans and everything. Like, we get that. Some of the stuff that he was spewing out there on Ken Jeong and Freddie Prinze Jr., you know, that was actually fresh. So if you were to say to me, look, we're going to have MJF each week because there's going to be a couple of Planet celebrities in the house, and we're going to have MJF pretty much go savage Don Rickles on their ass. Yo, sign me the fuck up, because Don Rickles, nobody did it. Nobody did it as good as Don Rickles when it came to fucking roasting people, man. Yeah, Jungle Boy, yeah, that was a good match. Adam Cole's segment was pretty damn good. Good show. Very good show overall when it's all said and done. All right, so look here. If you guys been enjoying yourself so far, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button. Smash the like. Click on that bell. Select all notifications so you know about new content that comes your way here on a weekly basis, y'all. Yeah. Let's keep rocking and rolling. We got a couple of more things that we can get into. For starters, as far as what's going to be going down for this Friday's AEW Rampage card is pretty loaded up. I'm actually pretty excited for this card too, man. Check this out. This is going to be Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern. And look, if some of you guys aren't going to be around this Friday, what's that? January 13th. I'll actually be live via the 401mania.com website. I'll be providing live written up coverage and review of the show. So hang out with us. Really great community. Whether you got your Facebook, a Gmail or email account or Discus, you'll be able to connect with that and join our community board. Really great, cool group of folks that's just interacting with each other in real time to all the stuff happening on Rampage. But your card for Rampage, we got Anna Jay and Tay Mello in tag action against Ruby Soho and Willow Nightingale. The Acclaimed are scheduled to make an appearance. Eddie Kingston and Ortiz are taking on the Kings of the Black Throne, a.k.a. House of Black. And, oh, yeah, you know what? I got to show this guy some love, too. apparently Golden Globe winner Paul Walter Hauser is going to be in the house. Now, he actually made a cameo during tonight's Dynamite. And I didn't recognize this guy, and I was asking on social media, hey, chat me up, get me up to speed. Who is this guy? Like, I'm not being facetious. Why should I give a damn about this guy? Chat me up about him. And a few people reached out to me, and you know, one person said, oh, as of last night, he's now a fucking Golden Globe winner. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, he's a comedian. I'm like, okay, so I was like, you got to forgive me. I haven't watched Oscars and Golden Globes in years, like, so I don't really keep up with that, you know, like that. So, okay, he's a comedian. Okay, well, I got to check out some of his work. And then a few other people had responded, and they were like, dude, Cobra Kai, he's the guy, Cobra Kai. And I'm like, oh, is he the oldest guy that trains with the students and all that? He's trying to relive his glory years. Yeah, that's the dude. I'm like, oh, him. I'm like, okay, yeah, I like him. Yeah, he's cool. Apparently, he did Renee Paquette's podcast, I guess, a few days ago. So I got to piggy on back. I got to check that out and everything. But, yeah, apparently he's a big wrestling fan. As part of his acceptance speech from the Golden Globes, he actually said, get the table. So I'm like, okay, that is badass, right? That's fucking badass. So nice to know he's a big wrestling fan and all that. So I will definitely pick you on back, check out some of his stuff, and I will let you guys know what I think about it on next week's show and everything. But for this Friday's Rampage, he is going to be making an appearance, and this is pretty much stemming from what was done on Dynamite, as there's something he's supposed to be revealing. He was supposed to reveal it on Dynamite. He had something in some black box, some black-looking cool toolbox. But he said, I'm going to hold off until Rampage. And I'll have a lot more to say then, too. But apparently he's already buddies with Danhausen and best friends, including Orange Cassidy. So we'll have to wait and see what happens when we go to Rampage. Also, Darby Allin defends the TNT Championship against Juice Robinson. Meanwhile, for next week's Dynamite, Bryan Danielson faces Bandito. Now, that should be a much shorter match than what went down tonight between Danielson and Takesha. So, we'll see. Ricky Starks faces Jake Hager. So, that's what all is going to be going down for Rampage and next week's Dynamite. So, as far as wrestling-related news goes, some stuff that we can get into while we're still live on the air here. Tony Khan, he's been making his new wave of interviews. I know he also did the Rich Eisen show. I love Rich Eisen. Rich Eisen has a very unique, cool, laid-back way of conducting interviews. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that was conducted with Tony Khan and everything, especially as far as the talk of football goes and everything. But not on the Rich Eisen show. In another interview, Tony Khan was asked about AEW eventually running a boatload of live events. Does he intend on doing it in the coming years to come and everything? And as you guys know, they've only ran one live event, and that was last year, which was the House Always Wins live event. And Tony Khan had said, and quote, that's something we are talking about. We have a lot of great live event teams. It's something we've talked a lot about, and building out the live event business. There is definitely a lot of demand for AEW live events, and now we have this great, big, strong roster that wants to do these live events. So it's something we're going to do. And you know what? My only concern with AEW doing these eventual live events is I really hope, and Tony Khan seems like a very, very smart businessman, but I really, really hope that they start very small and they continue to play in the areas where they know they are most strongest. There is a reason right now where I know many of you guys, hey, I wish AEW would do something at the Verizon Center. hey man, they need to do something at the Patriot Center. I don't think it's called the Patriot Center anymore down in Virginia. I don't think it's called the Patriot Center anymore. I forgot what it's called now. But there's a reason why they keep going to smaller venues and all that. And I hope that when they do get ready to do these live events, they only do but just a small handful, and they continue to have those wrestling events in those already established small markets, that they've already done business with and all that. That's going to play a very, very vital role. I don't see this being a case where, if you were to ask me, so do you see AEW doing live events and pretty much being out there on the road like 5 days a week? Like, I don't see that happening between what they're already doing with AEW Dynamite, usually utilizing AEW Dynamite as an opportunity to film Rampage. And then, what? I know right now they had taped a bunch of dark elevation, but those are about to run out. So I'm very curious to see going forward. Okay, so what's going to happen right here? What's going to happen with those? We're getting more and more Battle of the Belt specials. That was something that had been advertised on tonight's Dynamite, which was the next AEW Battle of the Belt special is going to be in April. It's going to be in April. I think that's going to be Battle of the Belt 6. That's going to be in April. So you're kind of going, oof, So, obviously, I think as far as logistics go, that's fine. I think at this point, look, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. I'm talking about that common sense, right? So, they got to do it all in moderation. If you do too much way too fucking fast, I mean, you're gonna hurt yourself financially in the short haul, and you want to be doing this for the long haul. You want to be setting yourself up for success in the long haul and everything. So look, something that we all know very well, Tony Khan, he's got himself hooked up there with some really great financial heads, and I do feel they are going to execute properly all the concerns that I have. I'm hopeful that moderation, they will be doing it successfully in moderation, and pretty much we'll go from there. But we'll wait and see. But I do like the idea of doing more live events. I also like the idea of what's happening with them right now, as far as, look, if you're not able to get in on Dynamite or Rampage, that's pretty much it. It's making the ticket somewhat of I won't say a hot commodity, but it's kind of making it feel like a big deal. Like, I can't tell you how many times when AEW has done something out here in DC, Maryland, or Virginia, and the chatter, whether it be in forums or social media, the amount of people that are trying to go to these AEW shows. Now, look, it's one thing, the people that are talking, and then, okay, out of the talking, what's the conversion rate of, okay, people are actually representing, checking out the AEW product and all of that. But, the way that they got it right now, it's good and everything, but moderation, that's definitely going to have to be the key. In other wrestling-related news, Tully Blanchard, I got a double dose of Blanchard news for you guys. Tully Blanchard was interviewed by the good folks over there at the Two Man Power Trip podcast recently, and he had pretty much let it be known that as far as his career goes in AEW/ROH, he is officially done with the company. It wasn't a case where his contract had just expired. Tony Khan and crew, they just pretty much let it lapse and everything, and it was a little bit more complex than that. But he is done. He has been done with AEW/ROH for quite some time, and he feels that at this point he's pretty much done with professional wrestling. He kind of reflected on the last handful of matches that he did in recent memory, and wasn't exactly a fan of some of the stuff that he had put out, but stands behind it, because he was asked even, hey, could you see yourself maybe doing like a Ric Flair last match type of deal, and he pretty much shot that down. He was even asked if he had saw the Ric Flair last match, and I'll save it for you guys. He'll give you something to do on the weekend, or maybe at work or school, in between lunch or whatever. But he said, no, I refuse to watch the Ric Flair last match. So some news I thought you should know, that should kind of have you go, really? Or get your curiosity peaking there. And other Blanchard news. Tessa Blanchard. Now, we haven't really heard anything from her in a good minute, but apparently her and her husband, well, soon-to-be ex-husband, Daga, they have announced that they are separating. Remember, they got married August of 2020. So God, is that even a year and a half, guys? Did they even make it a year and a half? Jesus. And they put out a joint statement on their respective Instagram accounts, basically saying, hey, we've decided to separate. And the statement that they put out there, after considerable thought, reflection, and mixed emotions, we have decided to separate. We are two strong-willed, hardworking, and resilient people who hold nothing but love for each other. As painful as divorce is, we are thankful that no infidelity or other interests were involved in our decision, and we are parting as friends. We both want to see each other succeed and reach the pinnacle of success in our business and life. We want to thank you all in advance for your support as we navigate the next chapter of our lives. We ask that you respect our privacy and keep us in your prayers. So, a little bit more to this, a little bit more to this. And I do want to comment on this, a little bit more to this. So, here's the thing. Some people, you're kind of looking at this in retrospect. And if you maybe wanted to put the idea out there that, this might possibly explain, it's okay to speculate. So as long as you let it be known that what you're doing is speculating and you're not stating it as fact. Boy, the hot take that I have later on all the bullshit that was going on with the WWE sale rumors in the past 24 hours. More on that in just a hot little bit. But some people were actually paying attention to Tessa Blanchard running the gambit of the indie circuit last year, and I wasn't even aware that she had did some stuff last year, because I have tried to keep tabs on her from time to time as far as promotions she's working with and all that. And really, after 2020 and after everything that had went about with Wild Women of Wrestling, it just seemed like, well, I guess the only way you're going to be able to see Tessa wrestle is you got to go to Mexico or whatever, right? But that wasn't the case at all, because in 2022, she was wrestling all over the freaking place. It wasn't in the double digits, but she was doing a lot of work for Pennsylvania, New York, Las Vegas, Nevada. She was working with PPW, UWW, and WOW. That's not WOW. That's not Women of Wrestling. That's Warriors of Wrestling. She was doing work for the Warriors of Wrestling promotion. She was doing spots, matches, and all that for all of those respective promotions last year. But for some people, they kind of looked at that, and what really had caught their eye was the fact that usually on the indies, Daga and Tessa are together. They're always booked together. Maybe not in the same match, but they're always booked together on the same card. Whenever you see one, there's the other. But some people had made mention of the fact that in 2022, when Tessa was making these appearances, Daga was not around and everything. And, so you could look at that. Yeah, if you want to speculate, fine. Again, long as you let it be known you're speculating, right? Don't really know for certain, okay? But for some, that was the case right there. Something else that's kind of interesting here is the fact that just days before this joint statement by Daga and Tessa. Daga had put up a post on Twitter that he deleted. Taya Valkyrie was pretty quick to retweet it, though, or like it, and it had to do with cheating. It was basically an image and cheating, and you guys can see it on your screen and everything. Everybody else that's maybe going to want to check out the webcast version of the show, go to the 1 hour, 24 minute, 52 second mark. Cheating is the most disgusting, hurtful, and disrespectful thing you could do to someone you say you love. And the post didn't last that long. He quickly took it down, but not before, you know, 'cause look, even though you tweet and delete, there's databases out there that this is what was deleted. There's even a Wikipedia joint for Wikipedia pages that were in existence but were deleted for whatever respected reasons, right? So it's always going to be out there on the web. That is my whole fucking point. So when you see that post from Daga, you go, wow, what the hell is going on here? That you don't just put something out there like that just to be putting something out there like that. And the fact that they put out that joint statement saying, oh, there was no infidelity going on. And look, if you were to tell me that, man, Tessa Blanchard, her rep has been, severely damaged enough as it is with the racism allegations and then the stuff going on there with WOW, Women of Wrestling, how she handled things with Impact Wrestling, how difficult of a person she was going back to her WWE days, being there at the Performance Center, NXT, and all that stuff. Man, now on top of all of that, we add she's also a cheater. If you were to tell me that Tessa and Daga, or Daga said, look, I know you're trying to do what you can to repair your reputation, and you're trying to get back out there on the wrestling scene and everything. I don't want you to have, look, just, you go do your thing. I'll give you the divorce. It is what it is. You keep what you got. I'll keep what my guy. We don't need to go through no nasty divorce. It is what it is. Just, let's just move on. Keep it moving along. Yada, 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 yakety smackety. If you were to tell me that might have been right. Yeah, it's interesting because I have personally heard from people, acquaintances / friends that have had opportunities to chat it up with Tessa Blanchard, and some cases even befriend Tessa Blanchard, and they say, she is an absolute sweetheart, very sweet, very kind, and to hear that, I don't know what to make of this. I can tell you this from personal experience, though. Man, when you marry that young, Tessa Blanchard's 27 now, going on 28. So she would have been 25. She probably would have been 24, going on 25 when she got married to Daga. When you do that, because she's 27 now, right? So 26, 25. Yeah, depending on when she got married, she may have been 24 going on 25. That's the whole point that I'm making. But yeah, that's pretty young when you get married that young. And that is still a very critical stage in one's life where, you're finding out what you're all about. You're getting a really good idea of where you want for your life to be as you're getting ready to go into your 30s and all that, whether or not, family, you want kids, you want to try to get a house, like, 24, 25, 26, around that age, you're thinking about it, but you're still that wild, crazy, very defiant. No, I'm going to do this my way. This is how I'm going to fucking do it, and ain't nobody going to fucking tell me how to do it, right? Because I know my value. I know my fucking worth. I'm getting it, right? You are still that right, all that fire, and all of that. And man, to get married that young, I mean, look, I would imagine way before COVID and just, it was entirely different. There was a whole lot of, but I mean, that's why I always say to people, my best advice when it comes to getting married and all that, like, depending on how old you are, like, if you're in your early 20s, I always say, you might want to hold off on that. Just really make sure that you and, that person that you do want to marry, just make sure that, when you finally do pop the question and you do want to take it to that next level, really stop and think about, okay, financially, are you all going to be okay? Have you thought about every single possible negative scenario that can go down and how you all are going to be prepared for that and everything? Make sure you all are on the same path, on the same page. It really is a 50-50 partnership. It really, really is. Both respected parties have to, they got to bring it. They got to bring it to the table. They both got to. The way that any healthy relationship, especially when it turns into a marriage, continues to thrive is continued trust, continued communication, continued equal partnership. You bring what you're supposed to bring to the table. Even if it's not 50%, if you're bringing a third, as long as you're bringing something to the table when it counts the most and it's on a consistency, you're good. But any failure in all of those, any one of those, they can't survive without the other. And eventually it's just a matter of time before, so, I thought they made a nice, cute couple. I gotta say, I really thought they had made a nice, cute couple. And, if there was one couple I was kind of rooting for there, despite everything that was going on in the life of Tessa, I felt, well, hey, at least she's got this, right? So, I do sincerely mean this when I say this. I really do, for the best for both of them and everything. Now, on a more positive light, on a more positive tip, congratulations are in order for Ricochet. Ricochet has officially popped the question to, and of all the people he popped the question to, first of all, I thought he was still dating, who is it, Casey Catanzaro or whatever? Katana, whatever. I thought he was still with the chick down in NXT, but apparently, like, no, they've been done for some time. Like, really? Okay, that's news to me. But apparently, Ricochet and Samantha Irvin, they are going to be tying the knot. And for those of you that's like, Samantha Irvin, she's the girl that literally looks like JoJo, Bray Wyatt's wife. Literally looks like JoJo. She's a ring announcer currently. Yeah, so they tied the knot. So, or rather, Ricochet popped a question and she said yes. So in the very near future, they will officially be tying the knot. Look like a pretty cute couple. They look like a very cute couple. So I can't help but be like, hey, that is awesome. That is fucking awesome. But yeah, for the longest time, it was Casey Catanzaro. Like, what happened? The fuck happened? That's what I want to know. Hey, my man upgraded. Very nice, though. Very nicely. He upgraded. Very, very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Nice upgrade. See some other stuff we can get into before we get ready to wrap it up here. Shout out to my people in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, particularly those of you that were traveling on that Amtrak train from Monday night. See, if you guys did not hear about this, because at one point, I guess one of the passengers had called the police and was trying to say that they were being held hostage on the train or whatever. I guess as a way to try to somehow get off the train. It's fucking hilarious. But anyway, if you guys didn't hear about this, so there was an Amtrak train that was supposed to leave from Washington, D.C., and it was traveling to Orlando, Florida. It left Monday night, and it was supposed to arrive in Florida by Tuesday morning. So from DC to Florida on this train, it should have taken at least bare minimum 17 hours to get over there. Well, they had a significant delay. They were delayed, and ultimately they didn't get to Florida until like basically it took 36 hours. Okay, and the reason why, there was some type of a CSX freight train that it had some type of a malfunction problem or whatever, and basically there was a crew that was en route to basically repair that train and all that. So as a result of that, the Amtrak train, it pretty much it couldn't go anywhere. It could not go anywhere. And Amtrak was in constant communication with the passengers on the train, letting them know what all was going on. They were getting plenty of food, plenty of good snacks, water. Some passengers had their pets with them. So what was happening was Amtrak employees were giving extra attention to the pets. If they needed walks or what have you, they were hooking them up and everything. But long story short, there was a happy ending at the end. Everybody on that train was finally able to get to their destination, and it was a pretty big deal because we're talking over 550 people that was on that Amtrak train. Yeah, over 550 people were on that Amtrak train for a total of 36 hours. If only that would happen on a cruise ship. Right. More specifically, if that could only happen on a cruise ship involving me and my wife, that just, sorry, we're not going to be able to come into work for an extra day or so because, we something's going on with the ship and customs here, and we gotta stay put. Fingers crossed. No, I'm kidding. So let's talk about the crazy, stupid shit that had went down in the past 24 hours. With this whole WWE sale bullshit. I mean, I know you guys saw it by now. We've done our very best to be as unbiased, pretty much give it to you guys right down the middle, give you guys multiple ways of intercepting, taking in the news about a potential WWE sale and everything. Really been helping you guys out. You all been coming here together, talking about it, making sense out of everything, and coming out of this as level-headed as possible and everything. Well, we had a few knuckleheads that had took to social media 24 hours ago, and really where things had began was Dazn, D-A-Z-N's, Steven Milhausen, who put a tweet out there, and I'll give this guy a lot of credit. He pulled his tweet, once he pretty much was proved, hey man, bullshit. He pulled his joint down. But the post that he initially put up that had picked up a lot of traction, where everything had pretty much first began, he said that WWE was supposedly sold to Saudi Arabia's public investment fund and that the company will go back to being private. Followed up saying unknown if Vince McMahon will return to the head of creative, but is expected by some people. Again, he has since deleted the tweet, so mad props to him. Meanwhile, Cassidy Haynes of Bodyslam.net, he has not deleted his posts. He pretty much had said, for what it's worth, he's told the Saudi deal is done and they're taking the company private. And meanwhile, you've got guys such as Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, Brian Alvarez, Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer, Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics. They're all saying, as far as this sale to Saudi Arabia, it has not happened. Nothing that, we've reached out to our sources, there's nothing. So it's not a case where, hey, we can't confirm or deny. They pretty much are saying, there's nothing right now. Even Ariel Helwani jumped out there. And he had said, and I quote, hang on here. Let me see if I could pull up his. Yep. You know, he's good friends with Nick Khan. Did that great 1 hour long interview not that long ago and everything. He had this to say. Contrary to the reports stating otherwise, last night, there is no deal in place at this precise moment for WWE to be sold to Saudi Arabia's public investment fund or any entity. Sources say the organization is still exploring all options, I'm told. This is developing. So you've got all of that going on, and then what was really, really hilarious today was seeing this video by, and this was on sorry about that. This was on CNBC earlier today. I want you guys to listen to this or watch this. If you're watching the webcast version, you guys are about to get it. For those of you that can't see, visually impaired or whatnot, you guys are going to be able to hear the audio of this. Let me hang on. Let me just blow this up for you guys. So this is the Faber report on CNBC. Shout out to those of you that follow your finance and all this. I love how this guy pretty much had took a massive shit on the fake reporting that was going on 24 hours ago about a sale happening with Saudi Arabia and all of that. It just tickled me silly hearing this. So let me see how I can figure out how to... Let me play this so I can get an idea.
Not whether or not...
Okay, so I see the media source. I want to be able to listen to this in real time right along with you guys. So let me see. How would I figure that out? How would I figure that out here? Is it properties? I don't think it's properties. Let me try one other thing here. Is it advanced audio properties? Hang on here. Yes. I want to monitor and output. And I should be able to hear it now. Okay, guys, here you go.
Some doubt out there as to not whether or not you might see some sort of a process, but whether it really would end up with this asset actually being sold. And again, the Saudi thing doesn't, at this point, it doesn't appear to have a lot behind it right now. Well, I know that potential buyers for this company, if it were truly for sale, one would think yes. Doesn't take much to think that even the likes of our parent company might have some interest. It's a great subscription business, right? Peacock runs the wrestling. Endeavor, which owns UFC. Right. One might imagine you put those two assets together. Absolutely. Although it's very much unclear whether Endeavor, given its market cap and balance sheet, would be willing and levering up to the level it would to potentially be able to buy World Wrestling. I mentioned it again this morning because there was a tweet overnight from somebody saying that the Saudis were going to buy it. That got deleted. Wasn't true to begin with. But it has had the effect of sending the stock up a bit more. What I am hearing is you may see a process. You might see some books go out, a couple of investment banks being hired to send books out and say, hey, are you interested? But I also hear from prospective buyers.
So that pretty much was it, right? So I can't stress this enough to you guys. What I personally would recommend to you all is, there we go, turn that off. What I personally would recommend to you guys is, oh my God, don't fall for that bullshit, yo. Seriously, do not fall for that bullshit. If you really want to be on top of the game, and okay, is a WWE sale, could it potentially happen? And if so, right, you really want to make sure that at this point, as far as people, you should, look, these people without a shadow of doubt are going to take their time. They're going to validate all the news and information. They're going to confirm from their respected sources before putting any type of a statement out there. And if they need to clarify on something, they will definitely clarify. They will expand upon that thought and everything. You really need to be paying attention to what is being said by folks like CNBC, MSNBC, right? The financial networks, basically. Pay attention to the good work that comes from Brandon Thurston and Mookie over there at WrestleNomics. Pay attention to what they put out there, okay? They've got respected sources as well. For sure, Sean Ross Sapp. For sure, Ariel Helwani. I would put Ariel at the very fucking top of the list. I would not be sleeping on Ariel here, because Ariel, that friendship that he has with Nick Khan and everything, you don't think that Nick is going to try to look out for him to essentially give him the biggest scoop of, I won't say his career, because his career is, it's already established and everything, but as far as expanding upon it more, really stretching it out even more and everything, you don't think Nick Khan is going to give that nod to Ariel? Right? Nah, he definitely is. If he can help it, he definitely will give his good friend in Ariel that nod and everything. I would say trust those people before you go with a design that, for all intents and purposes, never really, like, all of a sudden we're like, news and information is coming from DAZN. Like, say what? Like, before you go with a bodyslam.net or joeblowhole.com, whatever. Like, before all of that, like, just pump the brakes, right? This is a classic example. This is a classic example of, and it pisses me off sometimes, because not only am I a member of the media, not only am I somebody that's currently in school, officially getting my degree in journalism and broadcast media, but, when I see shit like this, it makes me embarrassed to be part of the wrestling community, because we've got this shit poor reporting that's basically nothing more than speculation. And here's where you have a problem with this, a big problem with this, is we got motherfuckers that are not taking this news and they're not reporting it as, hey, look, these are rumors now, but this is what's up. We've got motherfuckers that are just, oh, well, literally, they're just throwing darts on the fucking wall and they're hoping that this shit will stick. And the way that they'll try to justify it, let's say hypothetically speaking, no, it turns out it's not Saudi. Then these motherfuckers, they're going to try to justify the posts or articles that they initially put out there by saying, according to my respected sources, the sales to Saudi Arabia from WWE, it didn't go through because WWE had a second change of mind, or they weren't exactly able to come to a negotiable agreement, and it actually fell apart. But we stand by our reporting. We stand by our report. That's how you see motherfuckers. That's just, this is the game that they play. A lot of motherfuckers are just throwing darts up on the fucking board, and they're just trying to see, if it'll stick, right? A lot of these motherfuckers are doing what they're doing because it's all about fucking clickbaiting. It's all about driving the traffic. They got their little websites monetized, or their fucking YouTube, a little Twitch stream. They got all that shit monetized and all. Let me tell you something. I don't want to be jumping up on my phone or tablet or some shit like that, breaking some speculative news. You ain't see my black ass come on YouTube, did you? Saying WWE bought by Saudi Arabia. You didn't see me on there, right? You didn't see my black ass doing it. It could have been very easy for me to play that same game, get those clicks, get those monetization hits, get those subs, all that shit. No, I don't want to do some bullshit ass speculative fucking reporting. It's one thing if, hey Lee, what do you think about these rumors of a potential WWE sale to Saudi Arabia? What do you think about the possibility of a WWE sale to Saudi Arabia? Okay, you're asking me to speculate. You're asking me for my opinion, right? Okay. Well, look, I'm no financial expert and all of that other shit, but, you know, I got two eyeballs. I know a lot of the shit that has gone down in Saudi Arabia over the years. I know how ass backwards that fucking country is. I haven't forgotten about Khashoggi that got fucking assassinated a couple of years back and everything. That definitely needs to go. That needs to go. That man's death, it needs to be, you know, avenged. I still haven't forgotten about that, and all the other heinous, fucked up shit that's going on in that country with that Saudi prince. You ask me for my personal opinion on a potential WWE sale to Saudi Arabia. I gotta tell you guys, I think that might make me not check out the WWE product anymore. I think that might make me go, yeah, let me fill in this little space by talking about these other promotions over here. And I can only imagine how some of the other wrestlers on that roster would personally feel if WWE were to be sold to Saudi Arabia. What would it mean for the contracts that's already in place for a lot of those talents when, you know, if hypothetically speaking, if Saudi were, you know, obviously these contracts would have to be renegotiated and all of that, I would think, right? Oh my God, I'm thinking about Kevin Owens. I'm looking at Sami Zayn, you know, who always refused to go to Saudi. Kevin supporting his friend and Sammy, right? Yeah, I can't. Oh my God, just imagine if they had got CM Punk back. If WWE did get CM Punk back, CM Punk ain't doing no Saudi Arabia. He ain't fucking doing no Saudi Arabia. You know, it's one thing to watch a Saudi Arabia, you know, pay-per-view event once or twice, you know, just to be, you know, hey, look, watched it. Hey, this is what had went down. And, you know, are they making progress? Yeah, they're making progress out there, but is it real progress? Is it truly real progress that you can taste, that you can feel, that, you know, I don't know, man. There's a whole lot of dirtiness that's going on out there with that royal family that just kind of creeps me the fuck out, almost to the point that I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Sometimes when I'm watching those Saudi shows, you know, and maybe it's okay for me to feel this way, but I feel kind of dirty sometimes. I kind of feel like I'm doing something wrong in watching the Saudi shows because I feel as though I'm truly not supporting and I don't know, maybe if that's how I continue to feel, maybe I need to continue to just go, nah, I'm going to go blackout on these Saudi shows. I'm not going to watch them. No. You want to do an American show? You want to do a UK show? You want to do a show in Japan or Africa? Or sure. You want to do something in Saudi Arabia? I can't go for that. No can do. Right? You look at Saudi Arabia's, you know, the respective firm company that they have and everything, you know, you look at the IP that they have so far and, you know, it's pretty small. I mean, we're talking about, what is it? Because they had like some type of a live golf tournament that they could not, for the love of them, get distribution rights for and everything, you know, so they were struggling to air that fucking thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they literally were like, look, distribute this for free. Like seriously, just go ahead and we want you to fucking, you know, cause Saudi, they're funded and backed by Live Golf. That had struggled to get a TV rights deal. And apparently they had tried to pay Fox Sports to distribute and air their tournaments. So, you know, it's live gold Live Gold, Live Golf, something. I think it's Live Gold. I'm having a hard time figuring out what's the name of it, but they're struggling right now. And there are a very new IP, and intellectual property. They are very, very new. They're not extensive, not as credible, not as profitable as WWE is. And then here's the other thing that you got to think about. If Saudi and WWE were to broker this deal, you know, this could be a double-edged sword for WWE. Sure, they might be able to get an asking price, but if in X amount years' time, it turns out WWE would have been better selling to these people instead, and they would have been able to make 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times more the money than what they had got from Saudi, right? So there's a lot of moving parts to this. It's not as clear cut as a lot of people are making this out to be. I don't know who the fuck started. Well, I do know, but why the fuck, you know, of all the things to say, Saudi Arabia. All I can think of is fucking clickbait and all that other shit. This is a very teachable lesson for those that are studying journalism. You know, be on top of your fucking game, man. Be on top of your respected fucking game. And don't be out there spreading bullshit, you know, personal propaganda. You know, there truly is biased media reporting that's out there. You look at the shit that's going on with Dana White and the whole slapping thing of his wife. You look at how I was very curious. I was very curious to see if Fox Sports was going to cover it. I just watched a couple of shows at random, trying to see if they talked about it. Nobody did. I then go to, who was it? ESPN, trying to see if maybe they might have. The few shows I checked out, nothing was brought up. I didn't watch them all, but the few shows that I did check out on ESPN didn't bring them up. I'm told on social media, yeah, well, Ariel Helwani, he went into it at great depth. What I would expect Ariel to, because he's not tied. He's not getting that ESPN, that Fox money. He, you know, he's so he can go there if he wants to. But, you know, and then to see the comments that Dana White had put out there, well, you know, what's supposed to happen to me? You know, well, if I were to be suspended or if I were to be fired, I mean, I'd be great. I'd be okay. But, you know, the other people, you know, the fighters, the people that are employed for UFC, you know, it wouldn't be good for them. So, you know, what exactly is supposed to happen to me? You know, so it's... right? So, you know, but to my point, this biased media that we have going on. If you want to see a really good fucking, you know, biased media at its strongest, okay, do this when you get a free moment. Next hour or so, later this week, weekend, whatever. Just next time you get a free moment, look this up. Look up Roland Martin, Dan Abrams. Do it on a YouTube search, okay? Now, the backstory to this, again, all you gotta do is just type in, and actually it's Dan Abrams. Type in Dan Abrams. And that name should sound familiar to you guys because Dan Abrams, he used to have the show, Live PD and all that, okay? Now, here's what I want you to do on YouTube. When you type in Dan Abrams, Roland Martin, the very first thing you're going to see is you screwed up. Roland rips News Nation's Dan Abrams for taking tweets out of context. Now, I'm going to let you know right now, it's about 46 minutes long, but Roland takes you, it's a fun ride. He takes you to school on this. It's a fun ride. Watch that. And you'll truly understand this current framing of media reporting that's going on right now. That I gotta tell you, if I have the opportunity and the honor to officially be involved in this industry, it's not a form of media, definitely not one I'm willing That path, yeah, no, you can miss me with that. I want to clear cut down the middle. If I'm gonna be speculating, I want to let it be known up front I'm speculating. But if I can have it my way, the facts, nothing but the facts, ma'am. Who, what, when, where, why. Thank you. That's it. So I really hope that this is a teachable lesson, not just for readers, listeners, but also those that call themselves covering the wrestling news. Let's be honest, 95% of the wrestling news that's out there, it is a lot of copying and pasting from the actual people that are doing the reporting. And then when you go to, the YouTube or the Twitch, I mean, man, at least you got guys like me that's actually spending several minutes psychoanalyzing the news for you guys, giving you guys different takes and, educated guesses and letting it be known, hey, educated guess. And, whereas you got other motherfuckers that are sadly just coming on here, they're taking that news that's copy and paste from a site or whatever, trying to make it seem as though it's their news. Don't give credit to the original people that broke the news. And they're telling you to keep it right here for the very latest in news and information. They're going to give it to you. Well, if their fucking Verizon internet were to fucking disconnect tomorrow and their fucking phone bill was so goddamn high, the service to that were to disconnect, how they gonna be able to give you that fake news that's theirs? What they gonna do then? Airmail? What they gonna do? Paper mail? Something to think about. But yeah, I gotta say that really, in all the years that I have been involved in media, podcasting, it just felt like we reached a new low yesterday. I don't ever want to fucking see that happen again, but I have a feeling that there's going to be more of that to come. I digress. So, programming note. This weekend, I know Wild Women of Wrestling is going to be dropping a new episode, so I will definitely be on the air. I'm hoping Saturday night. Honestly, if I can do something Saturday night, which would be January 14th, I will definitely be on the air with you guys. Oh, yeah, let's go to quick programming. Actually, put that to the side real quick. As far as quick programming notes go, let me look at the polling results here. As I said, we were going to get to the polling results a little bit later. AEW Dynamite via Twitter. I see 5% of you are giving it a thumbs down. 29% of you are staying in the middle. Meanwhile, 64% of you are giving it a thumbs up. Shout out to those of you that voted via Twitter. Let's see what you guys are saying via YouTube at the RCWR show. Click on the communities tab. Via YouTube, I am seeing 25% of you had said, this is an exclusive, right? Same options from Twitter, but on YouTube for the communities tab, I gave a bonus option, which is freaking elite. Getting the trios titles, not cool. I see 25% of you voted for that. That's badass. Meanwhile, 75% of you gave Dynamite tonight a thumbs up. You've heard the results now, including the bonus exclusive polling option. So don't vote on both. Just pick one where you feel the majority are at and vote that way. But yeah, we'll be doing the WoW joint this Saturday, and then I think that's gonna be it. So your next edition of the RCWR show, past that, for those of you not interested in the WoW Women of Wrestling coverage, will be on Monday night, January 16th, 2022. Oh, no. 2023. I did my first fuck up for the new year there. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm glad we're still on. Apparently, Vince McMahon is being sued I'm glad we're still on there. I almost forgot about this. Real quick, Vince McMahon has another lawsuit that is coming his way. Paperwork has already been done. It looks like a WWE shareholder is suing Vince McMahon in Delaware's Chancery Court. This respected shareholder by the name of Scott Fellows has filed a lawsuit on behalf of himself and similarly those situated by McMahon's actions. He's basically accusing Mr. McMahon of utilizing his 81% voting control to force 3 board members to exit, which was Dillon, Speed, and Wexler, and replace them with loyalists in George Barros, Michelle Wilson, and McMahon, putting himself in there as part of that trio. The shareholder is also accusing McMahon of bylaw changes that would impose his will on the board and WWE. The suit notes that Vince's move to take complete personal control over any major corporate decision by adding his cronies to the board is a violation of Delaware law. So that is obviously going to continue to be a developing story right there. That is definitely a case you all, as part of the wrestling community, need to be paying very close attention to, because there's no telling, and WWE has all the money in the world, there's no telling how long this could continue to drag out. You know, you can't help but wonder that if you are in Vince McMahon's camp, you know, do you ultimately, you know, are you able to sweep this under the rug by ultimately selling the WWE to, and then you have nothing to, you know, it's kind of like what happens then, right? You know, this is where we kind of need a lawyer, you know, somebody that's familiar with these things to step in, and maybe I can see about reaching out to an associate or two to see about maybe they might be able to stop on by and educate us all about this and everything. But you just knew. I mean, if you really just put 2 and 2 together, you just kind of felt in your heart of hearts, there's no way these people that pretty much got removed or resigned were going to take this laying down. Surely somebody is going to step up and say, no, this is some bullshit, and yeah, see you in fucking court about this. You just knew that, you know, I just can't help but wonder how many more are going to jump out there with their own respected. Now, look, you think about that the one that had investigated Vince McMahon for the embezzlement and the sexual allegations, which would have been, bear with me here, which would have been Manjot Singh. He was the one that led that, okay? And he's now, you know, out of the WWE. You know, you can't help but wonder, and remember, he, his background, bear with me a second here, his background was in Sony Pictures here. So hang on a second. And I can tell you exactly. Yeah, because he had resigned from the WWE board and all that. So bear with me a quick second here, and I might be able to tell you. I'm checking out. Hang on. Yeah, his background, I think prior to coming on the WWE board, was with Sony Pictures and all that. So, but my whole point, you know, if he's got deep money like that, that's just my whole point that I'm making. If he's got deep money like that, you know, if he wants to get involved with this lawsuit or, you know, create one of his own, you know, my whole point, Mr. McMahon could be possibly involved in lawsuits for like the next fucking 10 years alone, right? Seriously, I mean, really stop and think about that. This man could be involved in lawsuits for the next 10 years just off of what had went down. Manjit Singh, that is, yeah, I don't mean to laugh at a person's name. That is one unique name, man. Let me tell you. Manjit Singh. I mean, it just sounds like something you do in the bedroom late at night or whatever, man. All right, let's get the fuck out of here. We've already done about, let's see, we've already done about 2 hours, 9 minutes for you guys. I want y'all to be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads wherever you get your podcast. One more time, if you had fun and you enjoyed yourself, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button. Also, click on the bell notifications, select all, so you know about new upcoming content that comes your way. I won't be back on the air, not until the Wild Women of Wrestling stuff and then next Monday's show. But unless something big and heavy goes down, breaking news wise, you know, nothing but the facts, then I'll definitely be on the air with you all. But meantime, just stay connected on social media, Twitter, the Facebook, use the keywords, the RCWR show, always posting on there, especially on the Facebook. Appreciate you guys that's been showing the Facebook a lot of love. Appreciate the interactions with you guys. You guys are killing it on the Facebook. I love it. I fucking love it. But that is going to do it. Until next go round, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. Unless you have other plans, enjoy the rest of the week and the weekend. And I'll catch you next go round. Take care, y'all. Peace.